Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. The Ministry of Tourism preparing initiatives of infrastructure incentives for the tourism sector. His Excellency, the Ambassador of UK to the Sultanate, stresses that the British investment reaches around 46% of the foreign investment in the country. The Omani-Indian Investment Forum reveals that the volume of commercial exchange between both countries reaches around 800 million Omani riyals. And the Muscat Festival 2018 starts under the theme, Let's Celebrate Together. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. The Ministry of Tourism completed preparing the initiatives of infrastructure incentives for tourism sector, which is considered as one of Tanfeedh program's initiatives for economic diversification. The initiative aimed to provide fast solutions for any investors in the Sultanate that face infrastructure problems in the preparation stage for touristic projects by 2020. The granted incentives included amendments on the percentages between the real estate and touristic parts, periods of project completion, and possibility of negotiation with bodies concerned to extend the period of exemption from payment of usufruct agreements or existing construction services of infrastructure by system of partnership with the government. The initiative started forwarding suggestions to the Infrastructure Committee affiliated to the Supreme Council for Planning for further consideration if an agreement is not reachable that covers infrastructure fees. His Excellency Hamish Cowell, Ambassador of Britain to the Sultanate, stressed that the British investment reached around 46% of the foreign investment in the Sultanate.
I think that the situation is very good. We are still by far the biggest foreign direct investor in Oman, 46% of foreign investment. Just over a month ago, I visited the new Khazan gas field of BP. Huge gas field, very important for Oman and the UK. Just after that, I visited Duqm, and I think that Duqm has enormous potential, and we will work together as the UK and Oman to develop that. And we have a lot of other business activities going on, and that's very much what we want to encourage.
The Khazan field will provide around 40% of the Sultanate's need of gas. This was stated by Michael Townsend, Chief Executive Officer of BP Middle East.
Well, Kazan is so material anyway. What we can see from the gas from Kazan itself is probably 30–40% of Oman's total requirements for gas. So that's a hugely significant. And I think what we see is actually expanding out from there. Now, whether it's further downstream, that's something we'll look at, and we're talking to the Minister of Oil about. But Kazan is so important for the country, and it is something that we're totally committed to. And it's a very long-term project that'll be here for decades to come. And we can see growth from around Kazan to support Oman's energy needs.
With the aim of promoting trade and investment opportunities, deliberations of the Omani-Indian Investment Forum started today at the Shangri-La Barajissa Resort and Spa. The event was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud Snedi, Minister of Commerce and Industry. Our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi has more details in the following report.
Oman, a gateway to the Middle East and Africa with its strategic location. And over the history, ships crossed the navigation lines from the Sea of Oman to the Indian Ocean. The trade exchange between the Sultanate of Oman and the Republic of India exceeded 795 million Omani riyals. Thus, the Omani-Indian Investment Forum came to enhance trade relations between the two countries.
We really observed one very important indication that there is an interest within the Indian investment and business circle to know more about Oman, to get to know more about the business opportunities, and this is what this objective of this event is about. We believe actually through the very short interaction we had, myself and the minister and other the Omani officials with the delegates, actually there is an hunger from our friends from India to get to know more about Oman and the opportunities of Oman.
The forum focused on investment opportunities and familiarizing the Indian companies with the business environment of the Sultanate.
This meeting will increase trade, commerce between these two countries, will attract investment to Oman, because Oman has got a lot of strength, lot of pluses. I mean, that needs to be highlighted, and the relationship between India and Oman is very strong. And we have more than 90 people who have come today from India. From different states, and there are around 140 people from Omani industries. So they will meet together. They will have their initial discussions, and maybe these discussions finally will go to an extent when there will be a joint venture between the companies of these two countries.
Oman has always proved to be a favorite investment destination for investors across the globe, and it continues to be so due to its growing competitive investment features. This meeting sets a platform towards further collaboration between Oman and India to boost economic growth. For the Sultanate of Oman Television English News, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Muscat.
The Public Establishment for Industrial Estate has the ability to attract more than $2 billion of investment in the coming 3 years. This was stressed by Hilal bin Hamad Al-Ahsani, CEO of the Public Establishment for Industrial Estates, in a statement to the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television. A ceremony was held by the Royal Oman Police for the opening of Barik Police Station in the Governorate of Wusta, affiliated to Oil and Gas Establishment Security Police Command. It came with the context of ROP's role in protecting oil establishments and guaranteeing the safety and stability of their workers. The police station will contribute to enhancing and providing active security coverage for all oil and gas establishments and nearby areas. The inauguration ceremony included a military parade, and the police station includes divisions for general security, interrogation and traffic accidents, an operation hall, administrative offices and a briefing hall. The Royal Oman Police received a new batch of recruits within the framework of employment of citizens and qualifying them to serve their country. The new recruits were holders of special and general education diplomas, and the Royal Oman Police ended all the procedures related to examinations, physical fitness and personal interviews. The recruits will start their training and education at the Sultan Qaboos Academy for Police Sciences and learn all their tasks and duties to protect the safety and stability of the country. And still to come in our news bulletin. The College of Banking and Financial Studies celebrates the graduation of a new batch of its students holders of master's degrees. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Egypt's president today said he expressed his extreme concern to Ethiopia's visiting prime minister over the lack of progress in talks over the likely impact on his country of a massive Nile dam being built by Addis Ababa. Egyptian leader Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has repeatedly warned that Egypt's vital share of the Nile waters was a red line, but has at the same time assured Ethiopia and its ally Sudan that Cairo had no intention of going to war against either of them. El-Sisi was speaking at a news conference he jointly addressed with Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn after the two held talks in Cairo. He also sought to hide the apparent failure of the talks to make tangible progress over the dispute, using upbeat rhetorics about the bright prospects of bilateral relations and talking about Egypt's willingness to contribute to the development of Ethiopia and other Nile Basin nations. Turkey continued today to shore up the military presence along its southern borders ahead of an offensive into Syria. Military tanks carried on trucks were moving in Hatay, a province in southern Turkey. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said he will launch an assault in the coming days against territories controlled by the dominant Syrian Kurdish militia in northwestern and eastern Syria. Deputy Prime Minister Bekir Bozdag said after a cabinet meeting that Turkey has reached the end of its patience. Turkey's National Security Council also met yesterday and vowed to take steps to eliminate threats from western Syria in an apparent reference to Afrin, a Kurdish enclave northwest of Aleppo. Transport officials today continued to recover a plane that skidded off a runway in northern Turkey. The Pegasus airline Boeing 737-800 had 168 people on board when it skidded off the runway at Trabzon airport on Saturday. It stopped on an acute angle only a few meters away from the Black Sea. All passengers and crew were evacuated and no one was injured. The pilots of the plane told investigators that the plane's right engine experienced a sudden surge of speed that forced it to swerve to the left. Driving conditions in parts of Scotland remained extremely hazardous today, with officials advising motorists to stay off the roads because of blustery winds, heavy snow and icy conditions. In other parts of Britain, gale-force winds gusting of up to 110 kilometers per hour were recorded, and thousands of homes in southeast England have been left without electricity. The wind has damaged some of the overhead power lines that supply trains and brought trees crashing onto the tracks, causing severe delays for thousands of commuters. Some services to London's King's Cross station have been disrupted. At least 2 people were reported killed as a powerful storm battered the Netherlands today. Traffic on Dutch roads was plunged into chaos, with the wind blowing over lorries, toppling trees, and hampering efforts to clean up the mess. The National Weather Service said it recorded winds gusts of up to 140 kilometers per hour in the southern port of Hoek of Holland as the storm passed over the Dutch coast. Water authorities in the low-lying Netherlands were closely monitoring the storm and closed the storm barrier 75 kilometers east of Amsterdam because of high water levels. Amsterdam's Schiphol airport suspended all flights for nearly an hour today, and the National Rail Service halted trains across the country. Before halting all trains, the rail service reported numerous incidents, including a collision between a train and a trampoline. Now back for some more local news. The bodies concerned in the Sultanate have imposed a number of penalties to protect public places after an increase being witnessed with regards to leaving wastes in public areas and a rise in environmental pollution. This came after calls to protect public beaches and parks from irresponsible acts during weekends and public holidays. As per laws by Muscat Municipality and the Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources, leaving waste in public places is prohibited. Every person who throws waste in open places or wadi shall be fined with 1,000 Omani Riyals, and he must remove them in 1 day. Also, any person who gets rid of waste outside the designated areas shall be fined 100 Riyals. The 18th Muscat Festival 2018 started this afternoon under the theme "Let's Celebrate Together" and will continue until February 10th. The festival has many sites this year that include Al-Amarat Park and Al-Nasim Public Park, in addition to Oman Automobile Club, a number of cultural halls and clubs, the Tour of Oman and the Oman Cruise, which runs through specific routes in a number of the Sultanate's governorates, in addition to the various musical, theatrical, and art activities that will be organized on the stage of Al-Medina Theatre and the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. Developing joint cooperation relations is the field of preserving urban heritage topped the meeting of His Excellency Salim bin Mohammed Al-Mahrouqi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Heritage and Culture for Heritage Affairs, with Engineer Rashad bin Mohammed Bukhash, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Urban Heritage Association in the United Arab Emirates. Both sides, within the framework of the visit of the UAE's delegation to the Sultanate, stressed importance of spreading more awareness in the field of preserving urban heritage. The UAE delegation visited a number of the urban heritage and historical landmarks in the Sultanate, such as the Omani French Museum, the Historical Natural Museum, Nizwa Fort, Al Bilad Village, in addition to a number of private museums and natural destinations. A ceremony was held by the College of Banking and Financial Studies for the graduation of 35 master's degrees graduates. They were the 13th batch of MBA majors whose certificates were approved by the University of Strathclyde in the United Kingdom. The graduates expressed their happiness for the completion of their study, pledging to use their knowledge in their workplaces. The University of Buraymi celebrated the graduation of the first batch of students of bachelor degrees holders. The number of graduates was more than 800 in various majors. The graduation ceremony included a number of activities and distribution of certificates to the graduates and excelling students. The graduation ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Saif bin Mohammed al-Shabibi, Minister of Housing, and the students expressed their happiness and pride for the graduation after the hard work and effort they exerted during the years of their study, and stressed that they are ready for the next stage of their life, which is to head towards the labor market, get a job, and serve their country. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the governorates of South Sharqiya, Buraymi and Al-Dhahira. Winds will be northwesterly light to moderate and seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Tourism completes preparing initiatives of infrastructure incentives for the tourism sector. His Excellency the Ambassador of UK to the Sultanate stresses that British investment reaches around 46% of the foreign investment in the country. The Omani-Indian Investment Forum reveals that the volume of commercial exchange between both countries reaches around 800 million Omani riyals. And Muscat Festival 2018 starts under the theme Let's Celebrate Together. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.